We would like to explain how to create a data service to provide that data to a particular Docxpresso template. What do we mean by data service? Well, we mean that these values here that can be filled just by the user are taken from a database, and in particular in this case from a CSV database, so a comma separated value file that you can create with Excel. Okay, so we'll see what are the required steps. So if we go here to edit, well, we can see the list of variables in the template. And for example, we're going to create a CSV file that will help us to provide data for the client name, the registration number, the address, and the email, for example. So what we have to do? Well, we have first to create an Excel file, and in the first row we should use the names of the variables that we want to be replaced. In this case are client number, address, name client, and email client. And I have here just provided some data, of course, only 2 rows, but could be many more. And what we have to do is save this in some folder in your local desktop system or wherever in the cloud, but save it like a CSV file that is UTF-8 encoded. That's important. So let's say Latin symbols like accents in Spanish or symbols that are not the standard English symbols are properly shown in the template. Okay, so we have it here already and we save it. If we go back to the edition interface of the template in Docxpresso, we can go here, for example, to client, and we are going to associate this variable to a service. And to start with, we will do the simplest possible thing, that is that the data is going to take from a CSV file that has to be provided by the user that is filling the document. We will see later how to do it in a centralized way that doesn't require this, but let's start with the simplest possible case. So we just go here and say save changes and save and preview. Okay, save and preview. So here, if I click in the client variable in this button that appears, we'll see that it's asking me to load a file. So I can go here to see CSVs. That is where I store this. I'm going to, and as you see, automatically the data loads. And if I say that I want this, the second line of data to be introduced within the document, I just have to click here. As you see here is already the data. Okay. This is nice and simple, but has a disadvantage that the person that is filling this template has to have access to that CSV file in a non-centralized way. And also, if you want to keep coherent data between different users, you will have to provide them with the latest version of the CSV file. This is okay if it's going just to be handled by a single person, but not if this template is going to be used by different people in different locations. Okay, so what we are going to do now is explain how we can do that in a centralized way. The first thing that we have to do is to upload the CSV file that we just created to some place that is accessible via the internet. If you cannot do that because you do not handle any website or you don't have access to a web server, you can do it within Docxpresso. Just go to one share folder, to the browser storage menu, and create a folder, or if you already have created, just use it and upload there just by drag and drop this file. Okay, so now this file may be accessible via the internet with an URL. If we just go here and we create a link, okay, we just copy that link, okay, and in particular, if we will go to some place here and we just paste this, as you will see, well, it downloads. Okay, this is not strictly necessary, but it may be useful if you don't have anywhere an FTP where you can upload this CSV file. Okay, so we already have it accessible via the internet, yeah? And now we exit the share folder and we go to create a service here. Let's say create external service, and I'm going to call this external service new client service, and I'm going to say that it comes from the CSV file, and I'm going to provide the URL. Okay, and I just will explain here what it is. So, client state, I don't know. So we just go here and save external service. So we will have here this new client service. Okay, so let's go back to our template, say home, and we will go here, and this is subscription place environment, edit, and here, and we're going to change the load CSV data service by the service that we have just created. That should be here, this new client service. Okay, and save changes. Now we do save and preview. Now, as you see, if we click here, we are provided with the data, but without the need to upload the CSV by ourselves. And most importantly is that whenever the CSV is updated, it will be automatically updated here. So again, if we just click here, well, the data loads. Of course, there's some data, additional data that is not loaded because it may depend on the person that is filling the template. Okay, so this gives you a rough idea of how to create a very simple service within Docxpresso.